What's up, everybody? Welcome to VGU.TV's PlayStation podcast, The DualShock Show, where greatness awaits. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Mobley. Alongside me this week, I fucked that up. With me this week is, as always, Allan Muir.
Tom's not here, for like the 15th time.
Tom is not here. How did he ever get to be a co-host on the show? Anyway, with me this week, though, it is kind of funny though, considering he was you two were fighting last on like 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Then you were gone.
Yes.
Now he's gone.
It's like there's a long-standing feud. I haven't listened to last week's, but did you manage to tell Tom during the show that I thought he was that he was wrong because he was arguing about Infamous 2 again?
Oh yeah, I told him.
Okay. With me this week, though.
And he said, like, well, it doesn't matter because he's not on.
Yeah. Oh, it always matters. Guest starring on the show is Konstantin Maximilian.
Hello.
That's not his actual last name, but it would be.
My name is Konstantin Maximilian, or Konstantin Marahrens, as Matt is unable to pronounce my last name for whatever reason.
I mean, I could probably try, but I don't want to mess it up. That would be a very awesome name, though.
I also work here at VGU.TV, and yeah, just gonna hop in for whoever is missing this week for Tom.
We actually referenced you. Loyal DualShock listeners will know that we referenced Konstantin as part of a topic of the week a while back. What was that topic for, Allan? Refresh my memory.
Konstantin was comparing used games to piracy.
That's right. And we've all disagreed with him. So, this is off to a great start. We already think that you're wrong. No.
I got it.
A few quick announcements before we start the show proper. I wasn't here last week. That was the second time that I haven't been here. This time though, we actually had a full show as far as I know. I haven't listened to it yet. Really want to.
It was great. Nate, practically saved it.
Nate is a funny guy.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it. We had some issues putting it up, on the YouTubes and whatnot, and I like to listen to it on the YouTubes, cause it's more immediate, don't have to actually download it. Although I would. I've been very busy, and I'll tell you why. Haven't been here last week. Had to go up to Sacramento, visit some family. Haven't seen them in about 5 years. Had to go up there, let them meet my girlfriend because, listeners, my lovely girlfriend and I are having a baby. So, I wanted to go ahead and let you know. That's why I was gone the first time as well. But both of them have been baby related. The first time I had just found out, and I had to take a personal weekend. I had to be there with my girlfriend so we could kind of process this and prepare ourselves, because
Matt, you still there?
Okay, a little bit of a technical hiccup, and that's actually what I was just about to talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and dial it back, because I'm not sure exactly where we cut off. But, for announcements, because of this baby, I have moved in with my girlfriend, who has spotty internet. If you thought my internet was bad, she's got Comcast. This show is not a ringing endorsement for Comcast in any way. It's very spotty. Hopefully we won't have too many of these of drop calls. Also, I got a new job, and that's why, well, I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell, I don't know when Allan's gonna get this up, but we started a little bit later. We started 2 hours later because I work overnights. Last night's shift was my first night. I started at 10 o'clock. I got off a little after 7 I didn't get to sleep until 8:30. So, in the coming weeks, we will find out whether or not my days off are Monday and Tuesday. We will find out if we just need to have a later start time, or if because of the big time difference between us and Tom, we might have to move to one of those days. So we could, God damn it, Comcast. I've been downloading the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, and an error occurred again. So, that's great. Anyway, so those are some stuff. Also, small announcement. Last announcement, small announcement. I told Konstantin, I told Allan this before the show, and I know that it's probably not as big a deal as I'm making it, but I've noticed that I have some allergies this summer, and so I'm wearing headphones that kind of amplify everything in my head, and I'm sniffling a lot. I hope you'll excuse that, listeners. Anyway, announcements are over. Now it's time to start the show proper with, what have you been playing? Allan, tell me what you've been up to. What have you been playing? What's new in the world of PlayStation?
Because there's practically nothing out right now, I'm still playing Doom 3 BFG.
Well, at least you're having fun.
Yeah, I finally beat Doom 3.
Oh, yeah?
Almost at the end of Resurrection of Evil. Beat Doom 1 and 2, and did the Lost missions.
Oh, exciting. Anything else that you've been playing, though?
Yeah, I was playing some MLB 13 where I inadvertently threw a perfect game.
Really?
Yeah, I was paying very little attention to it.
Speaking of perfect games, I mean, not actually about PlayStation, but I believe it was Tim Lincecum from the Giants threw a perfect game recently. Which, I mean, I'm not a Giants guy, but I mean, that's a feat. That's an achievement. So, good, congrats to him. Anything else before we go ahead and? I know that Konstantin hasn't really been playing anything, so, but I mean, if he wants to say something.
No, I'm just having taken a time out for a week also, for a trip. Just played some Black Ops and Battlefield. Nothing new, nothing exciting.
Yeah.
Did Matt disappear on us again?
Yeah, so after playing the various Doom games, I really, really want to play Rage.
I'm not a big fan of Rage, although it is Jesse Pinkman's personal game of choice. I wasn't a big fan. Like, I liked that John Goodman was in it, but that was pretty much all that it had going for it for me. It didn't really grab me.
I feel like I had a lot of wasted potential inside of it.
Yeah. Plus, apparently one of the big gripes was like that the checkpoints were really far apart.
But it looked really great.
It did look good. It did look good. If you guys are done, I'll go ahead and talk about what I've been playing. I haven't played a lot because of the move, but I have put in The Last of Us for multiplayer, and I have been playing as much as I can some Mass Effect 1. Just the other day, I just played all day for side missions, to the point where I have like only a few missions left to just go to the Citadel and to wrap up. And and I was like, well, I guess I should finally do Novaria.
Yeah, Novaria is where a lot of stuff goes on.
Yeah, Novaria is a lot of fun. We're gonna run into Benezia, and then after that, it'll be time for Vermeer.
You mean Donna Troy?
Yeah, and then it'll be time for Vermeer. Ever since Vermeer. That is a very old GamerCast joke. Anyway, that's all that I've been playing. But I did buy the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, as I mentioned, and it is so beautiful. It's really a shame that my PlayStation isn't here, because I really want to put it in. Not downloading it right now, because don't need any more technical hiccups. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the PlayStation Plus deals. That's what we've been playing this week. Now it's time to talk about what you're going to be playing, listeners. Let's play PlayStation Plus deals. Alan, could you tell us what we got in PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, we got actually, we got a really good game.
Oh, did we?
Jet Set Radio.
I have only watched Josh play it once. On the original Dreamcast.
When it was Jet Grind Radio.
I've never actually played it myself. So. Honestly,
I haven't either, but for some reason, whenever I see Sunset Overdrive, I just picture Jet Set Radio.
I picture Jet Set Radio with, more human-like Kingdom Hearts characters. Because they're dressed very much like, Sora is. Anyway, I haven't played it. I might put it in my instant game collection. But, when I saw it as Jet Grind Radio, I was like, I'm not certain if I, care. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't want to be biased, but I have a special place in my heart for the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, during that monster storm that happened last fall,
mm-hmm.
my Dreamcast was one of the few things in my room to survive.
Wow.
While my PS3 and Wii disappeared.
It just disappeared. I always love that. It's a tragedy. Don't get me wrong. But I always love that you just describe them as disappeared. like you just woke up, your house, there's water in your house, and you're like, I better save myself. Where's my PlayStation and Wii?
My 360 somehow survived, yet all three of them were on the same table.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you actually mean this or not, but I like to think that they're just gone, like that they're not just broken, but they're gone, like they actually did disappear. I don't know if that's what you mean, but
I mean it as in they were there one day. I have a picture showing both from the couple days after the storm that has my PS3 and Wii right next to each other. Yet when I got back to my house, they were completely gone.
They were gone.
Yeah.
It disappeared.
Everyone has been telling me that it must have disappeared because they would have noticed throwing out something like that.
Yeah.
But the PS3 I'm mad about.
Yeah. As you should be.
But the Wii, I'm sure people throw out Wiis all the time.
My girlfriend's got a Wii, and I've been playing Skyward Sword on it. But even in a great Zelda game, which, has been one of my favorite, franchises for a very, very long time, it can't get me to keep going back to the Wii. Like, it takes me a long time to go back to the Wii when I, put it down for a while. When I get to it, I play Zelda for a good while, and then I put it down, and then I just don't come back for a long time. So, the Wii is it's a tough console to love.
Well, it's a lot easier to love than the Wii U.
Yeah, that's true. Again, the only reason to get a Wii U will be Zelda, unless they come up with something really, really good.
Also, one of the upsides of losing my Wii and PS3 is that I got a PS3 Slim.
Well, yeah.
And a Wii U.
Well, that's an improvement.
Kind of. Doesn't play GameCube games, does it?
I don't think so.
I don't think the Wii U plays GameCube games, which is like one of the best things about the Wii was that it was backward compatible.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really a good amount of games in my on the Virtual Console.
Yeah, I still say. I mean, I didn't have a N64 for long. Otherwise, I'd probably say that. But Super Nintendo and GameCube are still my favorite Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, my N64 is right underneath my PS3. My GameCube is right behind me, and my NES is right underneath my TV.
See, you got like a museum in your room for consoles.
Yeah, that's
something
It's when I went on a tear on eBay.
I strive to have that kind of thing, like I hope to have all PlayStations and all Nintendo consoles, because there's just something to be said about, like, there's a special feel to playing a game on its original console, fiddling with the controller, being very acutely aware of how uncomfortable the NES's D-pad is, having to sit close to the box because your controller is not wireless, and blowing into the cartridge, of course. Those kinds of things. There's just something to be said about it. It's nice. Anyway, this isn't a Nintendo show. This is not a Nintendo show. This is a PlayStation show.
But
we're still talking about PlayStation Plus.
But this all ties in.
Yes, because this was originally on the Nintendo, the NES. Josh and I had it when we bought a NES together.
Yeah. You can pre-order DuckTales Remastered for $11.99.
That is a hard game. DuckTales was a very hard game. There was also a DuckTales 2 for Game Boy that I had and never beat because that was also hard. Is that all that we got for PlayStation Plus?
There was some other stuff, but it was kind of minor.
Yeah, I remember, looking at the sale and being like, none of this really grabs me, except for DuckTales. And Jet Set Radio looks pretty good. I mean, I might, I'll definitely, if I am going to add it to my instant game collection.
There he goes again.
As far as the other stuff in the sale, I nothing really grabbed me except for the idea of DuckTales and maybe Jet Set Radio. If I do download Jet Set, it's got to be on my console while it's still at my house before we move it, as well as this Metal Gear Solid thing, because we really got to talk about this Comcast. This is pretty ridiculous. We're also like high up on a hill, so that probably doesn't help. As far as notable additions and deals, what did we get, Al?
We got Dead Island Game of the Year edition, which it was not even.
It wasn't?
No, not even close.
How did that happen?
Publishers like to make. Apparently, Game of the Year doesn't mean Game of the Year anymore, since they're just slapping it on everything. I mean, Arkham City, that deserved it.
Yeah, Dead Island really didn't deserve that title.
Yeah, it's
Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's really bad. I apologize for that.
For those of you not in the know, Matt has dropped at least 7 or 8 times.
It is not easy up here. Comcast. This show is not a ringing endorsement for Comcast in any way. I hate Comcast. Well, I mean, we're also, like I said to you guys off mic, we also live on top of hill. That probably doesn't help. So, anyway, please let's continue. Wherever, I know that you guys kind of went ahead, so go ahead and just pick up where you left off, and I will start talking with you.
Yeah.
I believe you were at the point where we both said that Island was not the game of the year.
Not even close.
It was glitchy as fuck in
I hated
so
that
many
game.
ways. It's amazing that that game got released like it was.
It's amazing that they, made another one. Because I hated the first one. I thought it was awful.
And listeners, guess who had to review Dead Island Riptide?
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, if it had been anything like the fucking fantastic trailer that came out, then I probably would have been like, this game is amazing. It would have been like Last of Us before Last of Us was Last of Us. But, which is actually like a bit of trivia for Last of Us. When they saw that trailer, they were worried that their games would be very similar, and then they realized, it's just
thank God. It's just
some hack and slash beat 'em up. Oh, it's just gonna be shit. We're gonna be awesome. So that's cool. So hate Dead Island is the moral of the story. Let's try to run through these PS Plus deals real quick before something bad happens again.
Okay, so you can get the Game of the Year edition. Doesn't really it comes with some multiplayer stuff, which is it's essentially the core of the game. But I don't think people play Dead Island anymore. Considering
I hope not.
It came out I think a year and a half ago.
Did it really? Was it that long ago?
It came out in either August or September of 2011.
Huh. Time flies.
Yeah. But
anyway,
it does come with the Rider White pack or the Rider White campaign DLC, which I actually played it and it's pretty good because throughout most of Dead Island you're using when you get a gun, it's very rare.
Yeah.
So you're forced to use just ordinary items, which it couldn't even. Condemned did this, but Dead Island couldn't even do it that right.
Condemned was awesome. So,
but Rider White, since he's a military guy, he basically tells you gives you his backstory as to why he made the choices he did, and basically don't buy it.
Okay.
That's it. Just don't buy it.
Condemned was awesome. I want to say that much right now. Although Condemned 2, story got really weird. Got really out there. But it was still really awesome.
Yeah, apparently the multiplayer component was the real reason why Condemned 2 was the last in the series.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Although it would be nice to maybe go back to that and wrap it, because it ended on a cliffhanger. I'd like to see them go back to that and kind of wrap it up. I mean, if you play the first game, it's like really awesome, and then it kind of gets a little supernatural at the end, and then the second one just they're like, well, you already know that it's all about supernatural stuff, so we're just going balls to the wall. Fucking weird. So it was a really weird game, but still pretty good. Liked it.
Now back to Dead Island. You can, or as I recommend, don't get this game.
You won't be getting this game
for $19.99, which, albeit, is a good price. And for those unfortunate souls like myself who have Dead Island Riptide still. You can play through Dead Island Game of the Year, then import into Riptide, and just keep on going.
Well,
but I can't because I bought 2 copies of the game on the PS3 and the fucking PC.
Oh no!
It was Aliens, Colonial Marines all over again.
Oh, that's.
But thank God there's no season pass for Dead Island.
Oh, thank goodness.
Next up is Dynasty Warriors 8.
long-standing DualShock joke. Who still plays Dynasty Warriors?
More importantly, why are they still making Dynasty Warriors?
Oh, that game, it's like the greatest game. That's like the first game I played for the PS2, I think. I played a demo of it and I got like hooked so early on.
They're still making Dynasty Warriors games. It's just like, who's still playing this? Like, is it really like that much different from each one? I don't know. I've never played one, so.
The whole point is that it's always the same stuff over and over again.
Like, what's the point? It's like Madden, really. Anyway, $59.99 for Dynasty Warriors 8. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this completely has nothing to do with anything, but this reminds me of an old bit from episode 23 of Podcast Beyond, when they were talking about Dynasty Warrior, whichever one it was coming around, because they come out apparently every 2 years.
Yep.
Hillary Goldstein was like, if you want to know more about Dynasty Warrior so-and-so, read our review on the previous Dynasty Warrior.
It's the same thing, like every time.
But I mean, like, they've done so much with that. They've done Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Oh my god.
They've done Warriors Orochi.
I remember that one.
Dynasty Tactics.
Like the Final Fantasy Tactics. I never played Final Fantasy Tactics, so I was like, I don't need to. Stick with the numbered entries.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors have been going strong since 1997.
Damn. Still going.
Well, to be fair, Tecmo or Koei, I'm assuming that's what kept them afloat for about.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what kept them alive until they merged with Tecmo.
Yeah.
Man, I miss the days when they were less like mergers.
Tecmo is old. Like, Frame was done by Tecmo. See that Fatal Frame 4? There was a Japanese version on Wii a long time ago, and then nothing over here. So, anyway, one last thing on the U.S. store.
Yes, that is Capcom vs. SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium. It is a PS2 classic. You can get it for $9.99. It, unlike Dead Island Game of the Year Edition, is a good game.
Oh, there you go. I have not really seen anything on it, so that'll be interesting to look at.
Well, SNK they've apparently just disappeared into the ether of time.
Excuse me. Since Tom is not here, I will go ahead and talk about what the EU store got.
Oh wait, can I please do this? Because I really I was laughing when I.
Oh, you're ready. You have something prepared. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Go for it.
A couple weeks ago, when Tom came back after missing a week, they got a whole bunch of PlayStation Plus games at once. It was like 5 games. And ever since then, they've got nothing. Not a single damn thing. And last week, it was... Well, all they had was Walking Dead 400 Days and an historical tactical game about General Patton, which doesn't even make sense because that's America.
That's America.
I mean, if it was historical tactics Churchill, then that'd be fine.
That would make more sense.
And Tom actually even said that. I'm pretty sure he said that he preferred Churchill, or said Churchill was better than Patton. But this week, they get the Smurfs 2.
Oh my god. I really hope that he's jumping on. I hope he's jumping on that. Because it's only going to be there for a limited amount of time. I don't want him to miss his chance.
I love making fun of Tom.
I don't want him to miss his chance. He should really jump on that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's very nice to see that we got stuff and you did not, for a change. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, then that is that for, the store. It's time to talk about what happened this week in PlayStation. What's going on in the world of PlayStation, in the world of Sony? Alan, why don't you start us off? Why don't you and I switch off? Yeah? Sound good?
Ubisoft has revealed the release windows for The Crew and The Division.
Oh, The Division looks so great.
It's so amazing.
The Crew will be Q1 of next year.
Woo!
While The Division is going to be at the end of next year.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, Ubisoft's already got Watch Dogs, and like I said, The Division was this year's Watch Dogs, so it makes sense that it'll be like next year, end of next year.
They're going to announce a new game at E3 next year anyway.
I really hope that we have this kind of thing every year, where they just, like I said this during E3 as well, that I hope Ubisoft just ends their conference with an outstanding game, looking game, every year. Like,
it would be impressive because they brought out several new IPs in like the last couple of months. Like they brought up Watch Dogs, which it came out of the blue. And then now they're bringing out The Division, and they're kind of moving ahead with their like old IP, the Assassin's Creed series.
They also brought out that a little game called Zombie U that I enjoyed, but apparently that made no profit.
Yeah, it's because it was on the Wii U.
And to be honest, that was the only reason I bought a Wii U was for that game.
Oh, it looks amazing. I haven't even seen that game.
I mean, when I saw it, I thought, Zombie U looks kind of interesting. But that's the problem with the Wii U, is that you can't possibly think, like, Alan, you're the kind of guy that will be like, oh, that game looks good. I would buy a Wii U for that one game.
Yeah.
I am not. And neither are a lot of people. They can't justify buying a console for one game. That's why I never bought a Wii for Zelda, even though I love Zelda. I'm just very lucky that I met a woman, a very lovely woman who has a Wii and has Zelda. She didn't even finish it because she was like, I can't do Waggle. I can't stand it. But like I said. Last year it was Watch Dogs, this year it's Division. Please, Ubisoft, I will tolerate Aisha Tyler at your conference every year if you just do this every time. So, and before I forget, Aisha Tyler, she's funny, but she does not need to be at a Ubisoft conference. She does not need to be at E3. Because that's trying too hard. Like, you can tell that like most of that is like scripted, or it's either scripted or her jokes are just trying too hard. So, she doesn't need to be there. Anyway, next story. At the San Diego Comic-Con, Capcom announced something old in a new suit. The classic arcade series Strider, who, coincidentally, one of my favorite characters to play as in Marvel vs. Capcom, will be getting an HD game titled Strider. The game is set for a 2014 release date for both Microsoft's and Sony's current and next-gen consoles. The game is being developed by Double Helix, who are currently working on Killer Instinct for the Xbone. Killer Instinct, isn't that the game where there were several comments made towards a female that were so awful.
Yeah, that's why I was originally just going to stop at next-gen consoles, when I saw who was developing it, I had to put it in there because I knew you were going to say something.
Yeah. Because that was just so inappropriate. Who thought that was a good idea? And the worst part about that is that it sounded scripted. Someone told him to say those words to her. So, anyway, I don't want to dwell on that because that's just a very ridiculous situation. Please go on.
Do you guys like Star Wars?
I like Star Wars.
I like the original Star Wars movies.
I am a fan of those as well.
Well, to me, the prequels don't exist. They're fan fiction.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Do you like Angry Birds?
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Well, good news. Rovio confirmed that Angry Birds Star Wars edition will be hitting all the current gen consoles this fall. The Wii, PS3, Vita, and 360 versions will be priced at $39.99. The 3DS version will be priced at $29.99. But the thing that's kind of weird, the Wii U version is $50. What's up with that?
Oh, the fuck?
I think it's because of this touchscreen, like, well, I mean, I guess they do it. Well, Vita is also a handheld, but I guess you'd think because it's a touchscreen, it's like more like its original mobile counterpart.
I mean,
you know?
If there's one thing that is not helping, one thing that could help the Wii U is
cheaper games.
Cheaper games, and
this is definitely not helping it.
Yeah.
Freaking $50 for a game which I get for like free on Android.
Exactly.
This is a joke.
Yeah. Nintendo, what are you doing? Stop it. Okay. In other news, EA has announced that it will not be renewing its licensing deal with the NCAA, meaning that NCAA 14 will be the last in the series. Oh. EA has also announced that it will still be making college football video games, just not under the NCAA name. Oh, well, that's not less than sad.
Like it matters.
EA has now signed a 3-year deal with the college licensing company to continue its college football line. Who cares?
Exactly.
I'm glad you said that.
I really want to play Dynasty Warriors now. You got me hooked again. Like I looked at the website and I'm like, now I gotta buy this fucking game just to play it. Ah.
Oh my god. That's funny. I really don't. I mean, it's football, and I don't care about football. It's more importantly, it's college football. So, who cares? Oh my god. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listeners, do not throw away your wireless headsets yet for your PS3.
I don't even know where mine is. I always use Skype anyway.
Yeah. Sony has confirmed that that PlayStation 3 wireless headsets will be compatible with the PS4, despite the fact that PS4 already comes with a headset.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point of this is what?
I didn't really like my wireless headset anyway. It was like, it was a cheap ass Bluetooth that I got at Fry's, kind of uncomfortable in my ear. I'd much rather use this one that comes with the PS4. So, Sony also announced that they will be shutting down the servers for MAG and SOCOM 4 early next year. SOCOM 4. Poor SOCOM had like such a bad release because it was like a day or two right before the infamous PSN outage. And SOCOM, like, again? Once you oh god damn. Oh, I'm here. So like all I hear was, there he goes again. Like, oh god damn it.
I think that will be the subtitle for this week's episode.
There he goes again.
Yeah.
Alright. SOCOM 4 had a very bad release, I was saying, because it was like a day or two before the PSN outage, and I mean, you could play the campaign, but who plays the SOCOM campaigns anymore when they have such a great online that you can't use when the PSN is down for like 3 months. So, poor SOCOM. And now they're closing it down. It had its run. I never played either MAG or SOCOM 4, so I have no opinions on these, honestly.
I played MAG.
How'd you like it? How'd you like it?
It was too big.
Too big?
I mean, considering the name, it stands for Massive Action Game.
I see. How'd you like SOCOM, Konstantin?
No, SOCOM was pretty good. I preferred the campaign of it was what really sold me on it. The multiplayer was like, I guess it was like the first real multiplayer shooter there was before, like even on PlayStation 2. So I think that's how it kind of like earned its reputation for multiplayer.
Okay. Alan, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah.
I know you love your WWE.
Yeah. Recently 2K was teasing something for WWE 2K14, and the tease is now an official reveal. The reveal is that the Ultimate Warrior will be in the game as a pre-order bonus.
Oh, I mean, I don't watch wrestling, so I'm like, you're just pausing for like effect, like let me hear your reaction. Like, cool.
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior is a crazy guy who literally changed his name to Warrior.
It's like not even. Oh man, wrestling is so ridiculous. Although, The Rock is awesome.
Yeah. The first 6 wrestlers for the roster have been revealed. They are John Cena.
John Cena's stupid. Alright?
Yeah.
He does that whole waving his hand in front of his face like it's threatening. Shut the fuck up. You're not threatening. You're stupid.
My personal favorite, Dolph Ziggler.
Oh.
Another personal favorite, Shawn Michaels.
Do we have to know any of these people?
I know the next one, and it's my personal favorite.
The next one is Dwayne Johnson playing the role of The Rock.
I love The Rock. The Rock is awesome. Alright? Like, just based on like, he did some shitty movies. Tooth Fairy was a bad movie. But, he usually manages to save things. Fast and the Furious was on its last legs.
I give you.
Fast and Furious is on its last legs. I want to shit, and Fast and Furious 4 suck dick, and I want to shake them. And like some guy probably said, maybe we should just stop this. You know, cut our losses, just shut it down. I want to shake the man's hand that said, "Wait, I got one more idea. We bring in The Rock." The Fast and Furious 5 and 6 ruled. I swear to God. Oh man, 6 is amazing. Anyway, that's my thoughts on The Rock. There were a couple others in your WWE roster, I believe.
The last 2 being Macho Man Randy Savage, rest in peace, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, Randy Savage. Bonesaw is ready. Steve Austin, my cousin used to have pictures of him in her room, just like clipped out of magazines and whatnot. It was very 90s. But yeah, she loved wrestling and thought that Steve Austin was the coolest one. And he was pretty cool in Expendables, I'll give him that much. Next up, at EVO, the next DLC character for Injustice was announced, and it's none other than John Jones, aka Martian Manhunter. Also included is an alternative Green Lantern skin, John Stewart, who was one of the first African American comic characters that didn't contain the word black in the title. That was That was a good day for comics.
Yeah.
He is also known from the Justice League animated TV series because they needed a black guy, and Smallville, and the current Green Lantern Corps comics.
Well, for the Justice League animated series, Hal was dead.
Oh, that's right. Hal was dead around that point.
This was after 0 Hour, where he was basically he left.
Yeah.
And became man. The one time Tom is not here, I blank on the character's name.
He became something. The Spectre?
Yes.
Yes. I believe that. Yeah, that's what it was called. He had the white skin and the green hood and all that. Really fucked up. Hal Jordan's had a hell of a ride. Oh man, I'm seeing that. Hold on. That's you, that's me, that's you. Yes, I get to do this one. You go ahead. I'm so excited for, like, the Saints Row story. I get to do that one.
I had a feeling.
Yes. I saw that trailer and I was like, oh my god! Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
Namco Bandai has trademarked Soul Calibur Lost Swords, which is leading the speculation that this could be a next-gen Soul Calibur game. Did they release, I know they released Soul Calibur 4 in 2008, but did they do any other ones since then?
I think Soul Calibur 5 happened.
Yeah, there's a Soul Calibur 5.
Oh man, where was I for all this?
2012 was when it released.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was like
for PlayStation and Xbox.
It was pretty quiet actually, because 4 had Darth Vader and Yoda, so they didn't really have that kind of hook this time. Anyway, anybody got anything to say on Soul Calibur? I remember, in other Soul Calibur news, Namco announced that an HD re-release of Soul Calibur 2 will be coming to the PS3 and Xbox 360 later this year. So, there's that.
They also did this with Soul Calibur 1 before 4 came out.
I remember having Soul Calibur 2 for GameCube, playing as Link. I can't remember who my favorite character in Soul Calibur to play as was. It was the vampire guy. I can't remember.
All I can say is that Soul Calibur 1 may be one of the greatest games of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
All time.
Oh, well. All right.
It definitely helped the Dreamcast during its brief life. So, yeah.
I gotta fucking figure out who my... I liked Siegfried, but there was one that I liked more. I can't remember who it was. I'll probably end up interrupting you at some point and being like, who's this guy? I'm like on Wikipedia right now. Anyway. Go on.
Well, the thing that's still unknown is what's going to happen with those console exclusive characters, since I'm pretty sure
they won't have a Link on there.
And I'm also pretty sure that Spawn won't be making an appearance in Soul Calibur 2.
Yeah, probably not.
I would not be surprised though if what was the game that fighting game that had Kratos in it?
That was not just PlayStation All Stars, but also Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Kratos or something.
Yeah.
And as for Xbox, they really don't have anyone.
Yeah, Master Chief. That's it.
They have Master Chief, who was never done, or doesn't really do melee combat. They have Marcus Phoenix, who looks like he was just roided out.
Mm.
And they've got the guy from Fable. So you can cast a spell and then just get stabbed to death.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
in even more Namco news, they also trademarked 3 names in the Tales series. Tales of Castora, Tales of Crealis, and Tales of Zestoria.
Well, I don't know how to feel about any of that.
These could be new entries or some that won't be used, considering they've trademarked different ones like Tales of Floweria.
Well.
And now onto the story that Matt is really excited for.
I'm so excited for it. Raphael was the Soul Calibur character that I really liked. Anyway, even though he looked really like weird in form, kind of awkward looking in a way, very flamboyant. But whatever you want to do. My favorite story of the week. And before I forget, I wanted to put this out there. I wasn't here last week, but I do want to say I really fucking enjoyed that Grand Theft Auto 5 gameplay trailer.
Oh man.
I didn't get a chance to say that last week, but I really enjoyed that. I have watched it multiple times since then. So, but in other open world city driving mayhem news, it was announced that Johnny motherfucking Gat is back in Saints Row 4 after dying off screen in the beginning of Saints Row the Third. Making a return to the series are Keith David and Neil Patrick Harris as himself and DJ Veteran Child, respectively. Also returning is Benjamin King from the original Saints Row, now voiced by Terry Crews, after the passing of Michael Clark Duncan. I didn't even know that Benjamin King was still alive. On a side note, the whole fucking show, Rob Van Dam plays a character in the game as well. I'm so excited that Gat is back. Now I know that I haven't really been into Saints Row until the third one, but I still am aware of Johnny Gat. I played a little bit of the first one. Gat was cool. Played a little bit of the second one. Gat's still cool. Played the third one. Gat died. And I was like, fuck, no! You can't kill Gat! And then I saw that trailer and I was like, you can't kill Gat. I knew Gat wasn't dead.
Yeah. He's practically larger. He's possibly more popular than the series itself.
The Johnny Gat is, I believe, the only character other than, the player character that has been in every game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's it for this week's news. Now it's time to talk about the topic of the week. We're going to talk about video game movies, guys. You know what? Let me close this window. Maybe that'll help. I know what you're talking about, background noise, and this window is open. You ready for this? It's going to be kind of loud. Ugh, that was awful.
Not as loud as I expected.
I expected it. Well, the window squeaks a little bit, so I wasn't sure how much. Anyway, I hope that's a little bit better. Anyway, we're going to talk about video game movies this week, listeners.
And this comes off the heels of the news that the Dead Space film is going to be written by Justin Marks, who was one of the writers on the Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li movie, which was terrible.
Mm-hmm. They're also, the guys that wrote The Legend of Chun-Li are also writing a Jungle Book movie, just FYI.
Oh man. Why?
This is actually, I read an article that 2 Jungle Book movies are being made at this very moment.
I'm not quite sure if that's a bad thing or a good thing.
Well, Jungle Book is one of my favorite Disney movies. But I'm very, very much content to just stick with, the Disney movie and never see another version. So, I really not interested. Look at that. Anyway. Video game movies. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So, they're writing the Dead Space movie.
Yeah, which I'm worried about.
Okay, wait. Is this like a live action movie, or is this another one of those animated movies?
Oh, it's live action.
Is it gonna be based on the first game, or is it gonna do its own thing?
I'm pretty sure it's the first game.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, that the first game is really a horror film onto itself.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard because Isaac doesn't talk in the first game. So that won't be easy for them. They're gonna have to add dialogue, and that is gonna be pretty bad.
But at least throughout the series, Isaac can talk, unlike Gordon Freeman and Doom Guy.
Yes. Like, he started talking in the second game, sure. But, just saying.
And in Dead Space 3, it's all about him.
He does talk a lot in Dead Space 3.
Apparently, Dead Space 3, not very good. Though, his AI partner was pretty awesome. Apparently. I never got to play it. Eventually I will. But not right now.
So, let's talk about the one that really just put this rotten, really just completely rotten to the core tree on the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Brothers in 1993.
Okay, before you go on, I'm going to tell you, I know, you'll get mad at me, but I'm going to preface this by saying, you like a lot of bad games. I am allowed to like, I'm allowed to like bad movies, but I have a soft spot for Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, I do too. I loved that movie when I was young.
I didn't even watch it when I was young. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like 16. But, as terrible an adaptation as it is, it's actually really funny, and the credit song by Roxette is awesome. I don't give a shit. Roxette rules. John Leguizamo is kind of terrible. Bob Hoskins is funny, and does kind of look like Mario.
And even though he was the one who
fucking hated everything about it.
Yeah, if he's the one who's spoken the most about how terrible the movie was, how he hated it, about how John Leguizamo apparently, I think broke his arm or something.
Jesus.
While doing a stunt.
Mm. What else? Let's see.
Within
Dennis Hopper, the late great Dennis Hopper, was pretty funny in that movie. I don't think he was meant to be. He was pretty funny.
I watched a a Stars documentary a few years back about video game movies, and they weren't actually serious. They intentionally wrote the movie that way.
What, the Mario movie?
Yeah, because of the limited budget, and there's really nothing they could do.
They apparently had $48 million to do this, which is unbelievable because they only made $20 million back, so they made a $28 million loss right out of the gate with it. And apparently the actors got drunk on set because they said the movie is just so bad that we're not even going to try to make it good.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of things that are fucked up about it, the Goombas and Koopas and Yoshi was fucked up too. Yoshi comes out, he's this tiny little dinosaur, and I'm like, well, Mario can't write that.
Mario's gonna kill that instantly.
Didn't they have these moon boots, jumping boots and whatnot at some point, which was ridiculous.
It's just
Like-
this is too stupid.
And when you think about it, it had a pretty good cast. It had Homer Simpson as the narrator. It had Frank Welker, who was practically in everything during the 90s,
Yeah.
as doing a lot of the character voices. Lance Henriksen, which I forgot. I forgot he was in that movie.
Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Samantha Mathis, I believe, was
Daisy.
Daisy. Not Peach, Daisy. This was before. Oh man, Daisy. Yeah.
But
that movie actually revealed that the Mario Brothers were actually their surnames were actually Mario.
yeah.
Which is a terrible idea. Like, I don't know how they did that, but I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was Gamercast. Nate Hole talked about watching a video of John Leguizamo talking about the 20th anniversary of the film. About being Mario and Luigi Mario.
God.
Oh god.
But yeah, throughout for the next 6 years, there would be about 5 video game movies, and a lot of them were not good.
Street Fighter.
Starring
Jean-Claude Van Damme as the American hero Guile.
It's just like, I don't, they just pick the worst games to make movies about. It's not just, they don't just like pick like something like, for like generally games with like a linear storyline, like Dead Space for example, those are like perfect games. You could just take the storyline from the game and make a movie out of it.
Yeah. I've actually got a
it was
list.
also the last movie Raul Julia was in.
Yeah.
Which was a shame.
And he was just a mockery in that movie. Like, made Bison look very non-threatening.
But the movie you haven't mentioned is one that came out before Street Fighter.
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon.
Oh, man. I never saw Double Dragon, but, you know. I heard about it.
Yeah, it had Alyssa Milano in it.
Mm-hmm. I have a list open. Do you have a list open now?
Oh, man, I have the same list.
Yeah. Does it have the Rotten Tomatoes scores?
Yeah.
Double Dragon's Rotten Tomatoes score is a solid 0%. The only other movie I've ever seen have 0% on Rotten Tomatoes is Bucky Larson. That's stupid.
Yeah, apparently, out of the entire video game movies as a whole, the one that did the best critically, Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Who would have thunk it?
I never actually seen that one. You'd think Advent Children would be better, though.
Even though it had a $137 million budget.
Yeah.
It didn't even crack 100.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. I've seen that. That one's cheesy as hell, but
that one I like.
That one's fun to watch. The second Mortal Kombat was not as good.
Oh man, the second one's terrible.
Wing Commander, which I didn't even realize was a thing.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider movies.
The thing,
Pretty good.
The thing you're not mentioning is the director of Wing Commander.
Oh, really?
Chris Roberts, who created the original game.
I didn't even know that this game existed. So,
yeah, and
what is this game even about?
It's basically like a fight game.
A flight simulator, basically.
Yeah, and they turned that into a movie, and like
oh yeah, that seems like a great idea.
It had Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh god.
It had Matthew Lillard.
Where have those guys been since, Scooby-Doo?
It has Mark Hamill.
Really?
And starring as Lieutenant Roberts is Chris Roberts, director, also co-writer. Man.
House of the Dead got a movie.
Oh man.
And of course, my least favorite of all video game movies, the Resident Evil series.
You don't like those?
I like those. They stray off far from the story, but they're like...
That's exactly why I hate them, because Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises of all time.
I mean, they could have used another title to describe the same movies, because like they literally have nothing to do with the actual game. Like, they just stray off completely.
Yeah, like the first game I was like, wait, where's the mansion? And then I've never seen them. But I was like, where's the mansion? And they're like, oh, they show, like a friend goes, they show like a picture of it. And I was like, but the first game's set in a mansion. Why is there no mansion? Why is there no mansion?
I mean, it didn't bother me too much. I feel like they did a pretty good job just adapting into the universe, and obviously their intention never was to to really integrate it with the story of the game.
You will notice as we move down this list that there are a lot of video game movies that have been released that have been based on some of my favorite video games that I'm not very happy with. As we move down, Alone in the Dark.
Made by Uwe Boll.
I've never played Alone in the Dark, so, obviously it's bad because it was by Uwe Boll. But, Blood Rain, also by Uwe Boll. Silent Hill, which I never saw. Oh, well, I saw the end. When, the razor wire was flying out of that woman.
You're forgetting a film based on the game series that I like, and a film I watched last night. Doom, starring The Rock.
I totally missed that. The Doom movie was so bad, but so much fun.
Yeah, it had nothing to do. There was no hell. It
was all on Mars. Well, because if you've never, in the game it's hell, but the
entire series it's hell.
In the entire series it's hell, but in the book series it's actually on Mars. I had the first book and it was on Mars. It's called Knee Deep in the Dead.
Wait, is that the one with Flynn McTaggart?
Flynn Taggart.
That is the best name for Doom Guy.
I remember telling the
Doom Guy.
Yeah, Doom Guy is just Doom Guy.
Yeah, I remember telling that to Josh, and he was like, "Who the fuck do they think he is? Fucking Flynn Taggart? Who's he? That one bull?" He's all talking shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive also movie.
Yeah, that came out very silently.
That's just all about volleyball and bikinis. Oh, man, Postal.
Another one directed by Uwe Boll.
And it was just terrible. Oh, man.
Next up, Resident Evil Extinction, which brought back Johnny Cage.
It just kept going. It just kept going with that series, and it just keeps getting worse. I hate this. I hate all of this.
But if you notice, as the farther down the list goes, the more, the worse they get.
Yes.
So it's like the next Hitman, starring Timothy Olyphant,
yes,
who is a great actor, but not in that.
Timothy Olyphantastic.
It was just made badly. Like, the whole movie was just awful.
Yeah, I never saw that movie, but my father did, and he liked it, but he's never played a video game, and he has bad taste in movies, so what does that tell you?
It tells us a 14% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale, also by Uwe Boll.
Starring Jason Statham.
How in the world? How do they get these actors to play these shitty movies? What is this?
I don't know.
They're like, I really need money. Like, you don't understand. I spent all my money on my new house. I really need money.
The next one is even better, Far Cry. I didn't even know there was a movie.
Another one by Uwe Boll.
Didn't In the Name of the King have Forrest Whitaker? Or am I thinking of a different movie? I think I'm thinking of, like, some other movie. Far Cry.
I feel like I'm gonna watch this movie tonight. It's a German movie anyway, so I'm just gonna go watch it.
Oh, it is. It is.
Well,
who's the guy that stars in Far Cry, Alan?
Till Schweiger.
Yeah, Till Schweiger.
Till Schweiger.
Yeah, he also plays in Inglourious Basterds.
That's right. And he was much better in that movie.
It's got
another movie that was made that
It has, of all people, Anthony Bourdain.
Jesus Christ.
And it has Don Davis from Stargate SG-1. May he rest in peace.
The next movie is a movie that I never saw the entire thing, but I saw the last 20 minutes because we were going for the midnight showing of Zack and Miri Make a Porno because Kevin Smith is my favorite filmmaker, and the guys at the movie theater were like, just go on in, you can just sit in for the last 20 minutes of Max Payne. And I hadn't actually played Max Payne at that point, but I was fairly certain that there were no goddamn Valkyries in it. And I was very pissed off with the last 20 minutes of Max Payne.
I mean, you could summarize the whole movie as bullshit. You watch it and you think, what is going on? What is this movie about? I mean, like, if you've ever played Max Payne, like, which 90% of the population probably have, is the whole game is about this, like, sad story of this detective. But Max Payne, it's about Valkyries and shit.
It baffles me because Max Payne could have been a great movie. It's very easy to make a Max Payne movie. All you have to do is take what Sam Lake and Remedy gave you and then make a movie.
Originally, the creator of The Shield, Sean Ryan, was hired to write the script for it, but
I've seen the pilot of The Shield, and that's a good show.
Oh, it's a great show.
I haven't gotten back to it. I'll probably get back to it soon, but my girlfriend and I were watching Breaking Bad, and we're checking out this new Orange is the New Black on Netflix, and we're trying to catch up on Breaking Bad before the last season starts. So,
yeah. It was directed by John Moore, who people will know is he makes bad movies.
Yeah.
He made Flight of the Phoenix.
He made Die Hard, the latest one.
He did the Omen remake.
He did make one good movie. The first Behind Enemy Lines, the one in during like the one in Europe, which plays in Europe, was a good movie. But I mean, everything else he made, especially Max Payne, it just totally sucks.
Yeah, Max Payne. Here's the thing about Max Payne, the movie.
And Matt leaves us.
First of all, they made the villain from Act 1 of the game the main villain. 2, they cast Mila Kunis as Mona Sachs, which she's just way too young.
Also, not believable.
Not believable. 3, they kind of glossed over why Max Payne was hunting down all these people until like the middle of the movie. So it's just like, oh, this is a road cop, I guess. So that could have been such a great movie. Also, for Valkyries, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie, it could have been, they could have just taken the story of the Max Payne movie, they could have just taken the story of the game and just filmed it off. They had the voice acting, like, they had everything. They wouldn't even have to, use a new script for the voiceover. Not even that.
The only thing they have to try to figure out is how to shorten it. That's really all you have to do with that game and a lot of games these days. Like Uncharted, you just kind of have to try to shorten all the parts where you actually play the game. So,
and the thing is, they could have done the voice acting thing because James McCaffrey, who voices Max Payne, is in the movie.
He is in the movie.
He has a cameo.
He is, and James McCaffrey is like the best voice for Max Payne. Mark Wahlberg did kind of have, if you squint, kind of had the face. But
to be fair, that face was Sam Lake.
That face was Sam Lake. But you also need to have that world-weary voice. That very sad voice. Let's try to move on from Max Payne before I just get more angry.
After Max Payne is the Street Fighter movie that I mentioned earlier, which we can just skip over because no one liked that.
Just terrible.
Just terrible.
I've never seen it, but my friend saw it and said the one line that that just solidified the movie as shit for him. He already knew it, but the one line was Bison walks through the raindrops. I was like, what does that mean? I don't know. Prince of Persia also had a movie. I never saw it, but apparently it was actually not bad.
Yeah, it was. Bruckheimer was behind it. It was directed by Mike Newell, who did. He did one of the Harry Potters.
Yeah, I think he did.
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
And he also he also did the Great Expectations redo.
Yeah. And Ben Kingsley was in it. So, I've never seen it. I still want to, like I said a couple shows ago, the story of the PS2 Prince of Persia trilogy is really good, and I would the gameplay was not for me, but I would eventually like to just watch a let's play of it and just kind of enjoy the story for a little while. More Resident Evil movies. More Resident Evil movies were made. Afterlife and Retribution, which kind of gloss over that because everybody knows how I feel about those movies. I will say, we were just talking about Degeneration and Damnation, which were CG movies, which are actually set in the Resident Evil universe for the game. Which are set after I think it was 4 and 5. They're both very good. Go ahead.
My thing though with the Resident Evil, the previous two, they introduced in Resident Evil 1 there was really no one noticeable from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 2 they had Jill Valentine and Nemesis.
Nemesis, yes. And to be fair, the girl that played Jill Valentine looks fairly much like her. She looks good.
Afterlife is notable for introducing Chris Redfield, played by one of the guys from Prison Break.
Yeah,
who I can't stand.
You actually glossed over Extinction, which had Claire Redfield, played by Ali Larder, which was a horrible choice in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see Wentworth Miller as Chris either. So.
But the thing though, they did try to tie in with Resident Evil 5. Because, spoilers for those of you who didn't play Resident Evil 5 4 years ago, Jill gets pretty much brainwashed.
Yeah.
And they do that to her, and that happens to her in the film. But Retribution was really weird in that it took place in different, like, simulations. And had, even though it had, like, it brought back a lot of the cast from the first movie. Something we forgot about. Extinction also introduced Albert Wesker.
Yeah.
Played by Jason O'Mara, who was good in that role, but they then gave it to Sean Roberts, who cannot act.
And then Leon was in one of those. Was in one of those movies.
He was in Retribution.
And
Barry Burton too.
I didn't see anything, but I don't think. But I did see a picture of him. And I was like, man, he looks terrible.
And Ada Wong.
And Ada Wong.
And Carlos.
A little too late.
Yeah.
Eventually I'll watch them, but I want to make sure that there's a microphone on, so I can just go on a tirade the entire time and just put it on the internet. Dub it as a commentary track. It'll just be a whole lot of, well, that never happened. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, apparently, the voice actress who did Ada in a bunch of the games did voiceover dubbing for the actress, because apparently her accent wasn't Asian enough. It literally says
so terrible.
Did voiceover dubbing for Bing Bing due to her strong Asian accent.
Which is funny, because Ada Wong doesn't really sound that Asian.
Yeah. And
actually, in the games, looks less Asian as time goes by.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, in Resident Evil 6, she looks like a white woman.
Oh, God.
So.
Did she look Asian in Raccoon City?
I think so.
A little bit.
I've completely forgotten about that entire playthrough.
Yeah,
I tried to block it out after playing the first, 10 minutes, and I was like, this game sucks so bad.
It's not a good game.
Matt was bad at it.
And we just played it.
Matt was bad at it. Oddly, I was amazing at it.
That's because you got practice.
You can't be amazing at that game. It's just awful.
I scored higher, killed higher, died
always
less.
Did. You always did.
I mean, it looks so great on paper, but when you play it, it just feels so unpolished. It's just,
Yeah.
It's like Dead Island.
Which a movie is in the works for that.
Which is also a crime in some
crime against humanity.
Definitely.
The last movie that came out was a Silent Hill movie, which apparently did not do very well.
I liked it. Mainly for one main reason. It had Kit Harington and Sean Bean in it.
Well. There are some that have been announced, some that have been kind of confirmed. Like Need for Speed. Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad came out in E3, and he was like, Need for Speed is going to happen. It's going to be in the Need for Speed movie next year. which I don't know how that's going to
go. I think it's going to be like a Fast and Furious kind of deal.
Probably.
Like, I have the feeling this is gonna the direction's gonna turn to.
Yeah. Another Resident Evil movie. They say it'll be the last, but
That actually, they say it's, from what I'm hearing, it might be the last one for Mila Jovovich, and they want to apparently keep doing the game, like they want to keep this going like Final Fantasy, as in they won't let it die off.
I mean, they all made money.
Yeah, but the one I'm interested about though is Assassin's Creed.
Ugh.
Mainly because Michael Fassbender's in it.
The one that I'm more interested on, and we actually had this conversation when it was announced, was Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank we talked about a couple weeks ago. Well, not a couple weeks ago, but
We talked about it like a month or two ago.
A month or two ago when the trailer came out. It didn't show anything about the movie, but it did look very good. The trailer was very true to the characters. Warcraft and Angry Birds are also apparently confirmed.
Angry Birds, I'm just baffled.
It's like, how do you make a movie out of that?
That was just some dude's idea for an app.
Yeah.
And now it's a movie?
Yeah. There are some announced movies on this.
Well, they're announced, or more...
But they're not, like, confirmed. They're not, like, confirmed.
Or more specifically in development hell.
Right.
So,
an untitled Tomb Raider reboot, Metal Gear Solid.
Which, they can't do that.
They can.
It's impossible.
It'll be very hard. It's impossible. You'd lose the joy of the little Easter eggs from Metal Gear Solid. Devil May Cry, Uncharted, Heavenly Sword. Which,
that's same style as Ratchet and Clank, right?
I have no idea. I've never played Heavenly Sword.
No, I mean the movie.
No. Oh, I think so, yeah. Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Which I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Tekken, Rise of the Tournament.
There was a Tekken film release, and it was awful. Why the hell would they make another one?
Splinter Cell. They want to do a Splinter Cell movie. Another Mortal Kombat movie.
Well, Spy Hunter was... If you remember, there was a Spy Hunter game that... in, like, 05-06 that had The Rock in it. And it was supposed to tie into the movie version that never came out.
Yeah. What else? Oh, Street Fighter, God of War, Raving Rabbids.
I'm not surprised. They're just going all out with the Rabbids.
Like, why are they still doing this? They want to do another Far Cry movie. They already, the game's not even out, and they want to do a Watch Dogs movie. Ghost Recon, and another game that I have a bone to pick with, Kane and Lynch. Now, a lot of people will disagree with me, but I kind of like the Kane and Lynch games. But, I mean, the characters are kind of interesting. They're a little out of the box. We got two old men. One guy's got like a scar across his eye and whatnot. The cover was really cool. It was like this guy with a scar across his eye and a broken nose, and then this old guy with like a fucking mullet and sunglasses. And then the second game, and like the first game was good. Had some major difficulty spikes and automatic cover, which is always a terrible mechanic. And the second game was better. It had a very interesting camera effect. And when a third game comes out, because the second one was kind of left off on a cliffhanger, I will play it. because I want to see where they go. But
there's something we've glossed over. There, the live-action straight-to-DVD ones, which like King of Fighters, Tekken, which I mentioned, two Blood Rain sequels, a sequel to In the Name of the King. The funny thing, though, it's In the Name of the King 2, Two Worlds.
Okay.
Stalker. Then there was that Halo Forward Unto Dawn series. And lastly, Company of Heroes one back in February.
Yeah. There's some cutscene films. Unofficial. Grand Theft Auto. Bioshock. Yeah, check those out, man. Yeah. Anyway. What was I saying? Just before you... Kane Lynch. Yeah, the thing about this Kane Lynch movie that I had a big problem with was, first of all, they wanted Bruce Willis to be Kane, which I was like, okay, maybe, sure, I guess, whatever. And then, they're like, but we want Jamie Foxx to be Lynch. And I was like, but, Lynch is white.
I love the way you said that.
I was like, Lynch was an old white man. I don't know if you should. I don't think you should do that. No, you shouldn't do that at all. But apparently, it's just a development hell. Somebody like scrapped it, and it's still like there, and they're just ready to do it whenever it happens. And rest assured, if it ever comes out, I will just sit back and be pissed off. So
yeah, there's also a Red Faction one. Red Faction Origins was supposed to tie in with Red Faction Armageddon, and it was essentially a movie pilot. And considering it came out in 2011 and it's 2 years later, I doubt that series is getting picked up. But basically, the main character of Red Faction Guerrilla is perfectly played by Robert Patrick.
Oh, man?
Yep.
There are some unofficial ones here. I've heard of Metal Gear Solid Philanthropy, but see this Bioshock and this game, and I want to check that out. Anyway,
I think we should kind of, because this has been a long.
This has been a very long topic of the week, and it's really just been kind of extemporaneous. Really, I wanted to talk about what could and could not make a good movie. Now, as we've gone down this list, we've really come to realize that it's very hard to make a good video game movie, as evidenced by the fact that this list only has a select few that are, as far as Rotten Tomatoes is concerned, halfway decent. So, just like you, and you know, with my favorite franchises, it's just like you said, Alan, like with Metal Gear Solid, one of my favorites. It can't be done. It's not possible. Uncharted and Max Payne, like these should be easy. I mean, like I said earlier, you gotta just kind of try to condense the parts where you're actually playing the game, and then just pretty much reenact all the scenes.
We actually talked about the Uncharted movie a few weeks ago. How Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were asked repeatedly to write a script for it, and then they couldn't do it they kept passing it up because they couldn't find a way to distinguish it from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Which is the real problem, because a lot of these games are
they take their cues. That's what Uncharted really is. It's like Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones.
Mm. I mean, the issue, I guess, is also that because the audience of people who would who really watch the movie because of the video game relationship is comparatively small. I feel like that there's not really a financial interest in doing it. Like, I don't know, like, I would watch for example, the Max Payne movie. I just went to watch it because I enjoyed the Max Payne game. But
Exactly.
how many people are there who play Max Payne and then go out and it's like, oh, there's a movie called Max Payne. Like, 90% of people who go to the movies don't play Max Payne. So they just see it as another movie. And I feel like that they have to make a balance between making a movie which is great standing by itself and making a movie which is based on whatever source material they have.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna try to run down the line of my favorite franchises to figure out if any of them would be. I mean, Infamous. You can't do Infamous or Mass Effect because they're based on choice. Let's see. Grand Theft Auto, you can't do because it's just so big. There's so many characters that are like integral to the story. BioShock would be really tough.
BioShock was in development for a little while.
Yeah.
Gore Verbinski, who did a bunch of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, was attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then that eventually fell off a cliff.
I mean,
And
I think that BioShock could be doable, although it would kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you probably picked a good ending, obviously.
Condemned was actually was in the works to be a movie.
And I would have watched that.
But since there's already a movie called Condemned, they had to call it a different name, and the name they chose was just terrible.
What was it?
The Unforgettable.
That doesn't really have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Resident Evil. I mean, I understand why they went with what they did with Resident Evil. Because, I mean, honestly, who's going to watch a movie of like 90 minutes or 2 hours of someone, running around a mansion solving puzzles, avoiding zombies? So, but I'm trying to think.
If you think about it, the movies that really get it right are ones that have like nothing to do with video games, like Tron.
What? That
Last Starfighter, The Wizard.
Yeah.
More recently, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes. Wreck-It Ralph is an amazing video game movie.
And there was also a short-lived TV series on UPN called The Game Over, which was basically like what happens when you turn off the video games.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember that.
It really was not. It was not on that long.
That's all I can think of as far as my favorite franchises and what's I'm missing something. Final Fantasy. They're so big. It would be very hard to like make a Final Fantasy 4 movie or a Final Fantasy 7 movie. There's just so much in there. You can't do it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any ideas for, which games would make good movies. I mean, like I said, it's very, very tough because games are significantly longer than movies, and so if you want to make a faithful movie that actually kind of recounts the what happens in the game, you're going to cut a lot of stuff out, just like, they do with books and whatnot. So, I don't know if you guys have any ideas or opinions at all.
I mean, like the number one thing after having played it would probably say Metro. Because it has there's a lot of material on it which you could just use to fill in any possible gap, since there's a book behind it too. And I feel like the adaptation from the book to the game or the book to the movie wouldn't be that complicated.
Yeah.
And of course you could always make a Walking Dead movie. I mean, that's obviously a thing.
I don't know why, but when you said Metro, it made me think Spec Ops: The Line would make a good movie.
Actually, I think they are actually making a film of that.
Spec Ops: The Line would make a good movie.
Spec Ops: The Line, I feel like the game itself, because I can't see a movie out of it, because the game itself was it was meant as a parody of all this violence in video games, and how do you bring principally this critique on video games into a movie?
It is also difficult to do based on the choices that you have to make. But if they manage to do it, it'd make a great movie. I think, personally. But yeah, it is a very good thing. I love that game. God, that's a good game. I'm just remembering it now. Anyway, we're kind of running. We're running with this. We should probably try to wrap it up, huh? It's already,
honestly, I have one there's one game series that actually would be perfect for a movie.
Alright, go for it.
Mafia.
Isn't it based on a movie already? Wouldn't that be making a movie based on a game which is based on a movie?
No, it's not. Mafia 2 was a great game.
Yeah,
I never got to play.
That's what I'm not necessarily referring to Mafia 1. I'm more Mafia 2, because that was actually a really good story.
It was very good, and that ending was just oh my god, what? Double Bear a good game. I'll platinum that game. It's a pain in the ass. I never want to play that game again, but I platinumed it. So, anyway, yeah, Mafia 2 was really good. I never got to play Mafia 1. But I did like the reference to it in Mafia 2.
The only one that, there's a lot, of course, Halo, Metroid, a lot of these can't be done. There is one that just absolutely you cannot do.
What's that?
Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption.
It's kind of the same GTA 4. I mean, you probably could do it, but you would have to cut down a lot of stuff, which makes
hell, they could cut out Mexico.
Unique.
Yeah, any GTA game, if you wanted to make a movie out of it, you'd have to cut down so much, and there's so many characters. If you tried to make a Vice City movie, you couldn't have everyone in there. You couldn't have all the extemporaneous.
Hey, they did make a Vice City movie. It was called Scarface.
Vice City came after Scarface, yeah, didn't it? Because Vice City was 2002. So yeah, it was much. It was much later. I'm like, didn't it? Right? Obviously it did. But no, if you try to make a Vice City movie, you couldn't have all the characters that you do jobs for, like Avery Carrington or well, that's the only one that really comes to mind. But still, you get what I mean. There's just so many characters that they don't seem important, but they kind of are in a way.
Yeah.
That you just and especially is the case with Red Dead Redemption and more recent Grand Theft Auto 4.
There he goes again.
Okay, so we've had a lot of technical hiccups this episode. As a result, we're going to try and wrap it up. We were talking about movies, video game movies. We're talking about how hard it is to make video game movies. That's going to be our topic of the week. Sorry if we didn't actually finish a thought, listeners, before this edit. I apologize, but we've cut out how many times now, Alan? The call, my call has been dropped how many times? Like at least 15 at this point. So, what is your? So we're going to move on to question of the week, and I assume that last week's question was, "What is your favorite entry in the Grand Theft Auto series?"
Since neither of you two were here, why don't you answer?
That's actually very hard for me to answer, but I will say it's probably Vice City.
I'll probably have to go with Vice City too.
Yeah, Vice City is just so much fun. Grand Theft Auto 4 is great, and I love it. I love the serious take that it took on it. The satire on the American dream and all that. But Vice City is just a classic, and I love it very much.
Yeah, last week, Tom went San Andreas. I forgot which one Nate said, but I just flat out said Vice City.
Yeah. It's tough because you know that it's one of my favorite franchises of all time, so it's hard to pick. But Vice City, it's got the best soundtrack, it's got the best cast of characters. It's just a lot of fun. So, that was last week's question of the week. Did we get any answers for that at all?
No, but this week's question: What video game franchise or just single game would you like to see made into a movie?
Okay. When we're talking like, if they had the liberties, like if they could make it, I think we've actually had this question before, but I'm gonna say it again. I don't mind. I'm gonna say Metal Gear Solid. Obviously, if they had the liberties to make the entire franchise the way it needed to be, I'd say Metal Gear Solid. What about you, Konstantin?
Probably gonna go with Metro.
Metro?
I've said it before. Definitely gonna roll with it. I feel like the whole setting it intrigues me enough to want to see more of it.
Yeah. Sounds good. What about you, Alan? You got any?
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong?
No, I'm just joking.
They had a Donkey Kong cartoon for a little while. Which
yeah, oh man, I remember that. That was great.
That was fun. I liked watching that. Go ahead. I apologize.
Probably it's a tie between Shenmue. Even though that's already just a movie itself.
Yeah.
And something related to Fallout.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a harsh one. It's like saying Skyrim. Ooh.
That would be a tough one, but if they could do it, that would be an interesting one. Did we get any community questions?
No, because this week's been dead.
Okay. Alright then, listeners, that's our question to you. What video game would you like to see made into a movie? Video game or video game franchise? I said the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up before the call gets dropped again. Thank you very much for listening to VGU.TV's
There he goes again. Literally in the wrap-up of the episode.
Thank you for listening to VGU.TV's PlayStation podcast, The DualShock Show. Rate and subscribe to our iTunes under DualShock Show, 5 stars, maybe even leave us a review. Please visit our website, VGU.TV, find us on Facebook, or tweet at us at VGU.TV. You can also find us on YouTube at VGU.TV Official, where you can also find this podcast in a video format. DualShock also has a Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at DualShock Show for both. Well, that's all one word, DualShock Show. Or if you want to tweet at us individually, Konstantin is at chaos_zone. Allan is at the Allan Muir. That is ALLANMUIR. The Allan Muir. I am at Mattman07 with 2 T's in case you were wondering. Tom is not here, but if you want to send him a tweet, he's at Gaming Hobbyist. This is a PlayStation show, so if you want to play on PSN with us, Konstantin is chaos_zone. Allan is that Jew boy, all one word, BOI. It's not anti-Semitic. He's a Jew. He's Jewish. I almost said he's a Jew. That would be really rude. That would be really rude. I'm sorry.
Actually, just calling someone a Jew is, there's no bad way to say it, and there's no good way to say it. It's neutral.
It's just wrong.
Allan is that Jew boy, BOI. I am Mattman310, Mattman310. And Tom is Pi_guy. That's Pi Guy, the guy with the pie. Thank you again for listening to DualShock, and we'll see you next time. Never stop playing.